Hey, hey. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is Denise Casagrande. Thank you for joining us, Denise.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, we're so excited to get to know you more and hear more about your story. And I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about you. And so Denise is proud to be the president at PCG Digital. Starting in 2015, she has grown and led the social media department and successfully orchestrated the PCG Digital rebrand. Her biggest accomplishment thus far has been seeing the growth in ad spent that clients have invested in Facebook advertising by developing and producing the automotive social media sales funnels in 2017. The PCG digital clients have truly come to find their brand voice and display it properly across Facebook. In 2018, Denise became an international speaker of digital marketing when she educated attendees at the World Shopper Conference in Portugal. Prior to this achievement, she has been educating dealers all over the United States at numerous events. Her speaking path has grown outside the automotive community as well, and she will be a keynote at this year's Association of Directory Publishers Convention. Mm-hmm. Helping businesses find their brand voice is Denise's passion. Her book, Can You See Me Now?, will take readers on a journey to find and promote their brand voice through digital. Denise lives along the Jersey Shore with her fiance, George, and when she's not traveling to speak, you can find her hidden away at the beach at a local spot. So probably not find you if it's a hidden away spot, huh? She has an obsession with pineapples and is a proud supporter of the Sea Turtle Conservatory. So thank you so much. What's that?
I said that's right. The Sea Turtle Conservancy.
Oh, what did I say?
No, but you said it right. But everyone's always like, that's an interesting ending. No. Oh. Very proud.
I thought maybe I said it wrong. I was like, wait, what did I say? I totally blanked out. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I love it. I love it. So wait, so when are you getting married?
October 5th. So we're about like 3.5 months out already. I know.
Oh, that's hilarious. So this will actually be released like right after your wedding.
Oh my gosh, no way. I'll be
So you will be married by then, just so you're clear.
Be in Hawaii.
Oh, you guys are honeymooning in Hawaii?
Yes. Yeah, we've never been. We're like going all in for it. I'm so excited.
Yes, that's hilarious. One of my like non-negotiables when I actually got married was that I said, okay, we can get married, but my honeymoon, like our honeymoon has to be out of the country or to Alaska or Hawaii at least, okay. Like somewhere not like right here.
Yeah.
And so we went to Jamaica.
Love it. Jamaica's awesome.
You've been in Jamaica?
Yeah. We like Jamaica too. Yeah.
Jamaica's awesome. You're gonna love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
So fun. Okay, cool. So I love starting out with relatable things or something just really interesting. So go ahead and tell us something interesting about you and your life.
Ooh, so something super interesting about me that not a lot of people know because I've, really, everybody in my career knows me as Denise, the social marketer, but I actually started in nursing school. Yes, when I was in college, I was in nursing school and I actually worked at a hospital for years as a nurse's aide. Okay. That was my true, passion. And even after college, I stayed in healthcare for a while before discovering marketing. So I think I still have those qualities today. Like, I guess a lot of my leadership skills are very empathetic because that's who I was when I was practicing nursing and working in a hospital. You have to be very caring and empathetic, and that still comes out in my leadership skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Leaders need those skills too. Like,
right. Yep.
That's amazing. And I mean, giving grace is what I think of too. Like being able to give not just you, but your team grace, like all that kind of stuff. That's an amazing quality for a leader to have, and not something that you see a lot of leaders actually like own that they have that.
Yeah. And I think that, doing that in my beginning journey of my life taught me a lot. And, now even, dealing in, digital marketing and working with clients and everything. And, I think that's why I always have a really good handle on things, because I'm like, it could be worse. I've seen some shit. I'm sorry. Can I say? Okay.
Oh yeah, you're good.
But, working in a hospital and being around, people that are, ill, and families that are going through a lot of stuff, it really opened me up in life to like a bigger picture that I think that I always carry with me every day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that you say like, it could always be worse, because that's the truth. We think that so many things are like the end of the world.
Oh,
and
yeah.
in reality, like, think about it, they're way worse off people than you, and putting things into perspective is really important.
Oh, 100%. And it's super important as a leader too, to, because what I always say, and not to completely go off topic, is, but I know every day when I walk in those doors that everyone's going to feed off of my energy.
Yeah.
And if I can, be a positive force, and if I can go in there every day and make it the best day, even when I know I'm not having the best day, it's just going to trickle down from the top, and everybody's going to feed off of that energy all day.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. That's so true. And I just saw this quote this week that I love, and it goes perfectly with what you just said. It was, if you're going to lead.
Yeah.
Like, be the first one to step up and like change the mindset or something that's not right, and actually lead if you're going to lead. So I love that that's how you said that. That's perfect.
Awesome. I love that too.
Yay. Okay, so let's dive in about fear specifically. And I want you to tell us, we're going to talk about a specific time in your life that fear held you back from living your life fully.
Okay.
So go ahead and tell us about something that resonates with you around fear, and that it was a time when it held you back.
Okay, great. So I guess starting in, marketing, and it's so funny because when I changed careers, I was only 25 years old. And, here I am. And at the time I'm like, I've had a career change. I was so young, that's not what, like, I was just getting started. That wasn't a career change. That was, that was me going, it was my career in general, so, there was, times along that journey where I was, switching, from healthcare to marketing, and I'm, very self-taught, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point too. And, there was a time where and this is, we're just going to put it out there. So I guess, when you graduate college, it's ingrained in you that you need just a good job, and it doesn't matter what job it is.
Right.
And, it's all about, getting there and getting focused and, being in that job and having benefits and doing everything that, I guess your parents did, because that's how it was back then. But fear held me back a lot because I was afraid to take jumps to make myself happy at work and in my career, and there were times that I missed out on opportunities along that path because I was like, well, I'm very stable right now and I shouldn't make that jump. And, when I did make that jump, which if you're going to ask me questions, I don't want to, talk too much about all of that, but, it was so refreshing, but, that fear held me back a long time. And then that fear carries over too. So even when I was happy, in my career and at my company and everything, there's still times where looking back at the past, 4 years, there were times when I wanted to say things and I didn't. And there were times when I wanted to implement a change of sorts and I didn't, because I didn't think that was my place. And there were times when I knew that things were not being run the way they should have, and I didn't say anything because, that was a lot of fear that holds you back when you're, in that spot and you're just trying to, make your way to where you need to be in life. And so I have some regrets, but you know what? I'm in a new mindset, especially becoming president and COO. And I could sit here all day and say, well, we should have been doing this 3 years ago, and we should have been doing, and I can't, because I'll just drive myself nuts. And it's just, at this point, it's just onward and upward.
Yeah, that's awesome. So really, like, everything that you're talking about is true. Like, we feel like we have to be in this box, right? Like, we are really programmed, like you said, our that's what our parents did. It makes sense because that's what their parents taught them. Like, go to school, get good grades, go to a good college, find the person to marry, have the white picket fence, have the kids, live happy, like that is the life plan. And it's so interesting to hear about the people that are, taking the jumps and making the decisions for themselves to just really decide, is this what I want? Is this the life that I want to have? Right. Is this the kind of impact that I can be having? And like you're talking about how you've stayed silent quite a few times. You're like, well, I didn't know if it was my place. And you're not alone in that. Like, so many people have had that struggle of, do I speak up? Is it my time to talk? Is it okay for me to say when things are needing to be changed? And it's so funny because I feel like a lot of people think that change is supposed to be comfortable somehow.
Right.
And it's always uncomfortable. Like, change is the only thing in our lives that is constant.
Right.
And that you can really bank on. And the fact that it's uncomfortable makes total sense, because change means that we're doing something new for us.
Oh,
it's always so interesting to hear that from people.
No, 100%. And I think that's something that I started to get more comfortable with the past, year and a half, is that change is uncomfortable. Anytime you're feeling uncomfortable or nervous, that probably means that it's time for a change. I mean, we're kind of going through that, right now with my, fiance, and he's ready for it, and things are uncomfortable. And I'm like, it's because you're changing. It's because you're growing. It's because it's time to make that jump. And, but a year and a half ago, I would not be able to say that. I grow and I learn every day.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we don't know what we don't know until we actually know it. That's something I find myself saying all the time now, because it's the truth. You don't think about the things that we don't know.
Right.
And then when we know them, you're like, oh my gosh, I totally could have changed that a long time ago, but you weren't there yet.
Exactly.
All it is. So It is all a learning experience, whether you did speak up or you didn't, or you made the jump or you didn't. But so when specifically, so during that time when fear was holding you back, where were you mentally during that, and how did you feel about yourself during it?
Oh my gosh. So I guess when I was, maybe I was in a job, maybe it was 2013, right after, the hurricane down here. And I just knew I wasn't happy, and I was not, where I needed to be in life, or where I knew I should be in life financially and stability. And I mean, you just feel terrible, because if you can't see the forest through the trees at that point, and you're sitting there and you're like, well, I could do this and I could be that, but you just don't even know where to start. And it's a lot of confusion. And it's very easy to get wrapped up in that, oh, well, this is what it is, and I'll just continue to go, about my day, about my life. And, I look back at that time, and, I wasn't making, a lot of money at all. And, George and I, we had our apartment, and, we were doing like well with each other and everything, but I knew it wasn't where I needed or wanted to be. And I was so structured back then. I mean, especially when it came to budgeting. And like, I remember even not, and I always like think of this when I'm going through gratitude and everything. I remember there were times where I would go to the supermarket, and I knew at that time I could only spend X amount of money with my budget. And there were times that, I had to pass on like $2.50 sponges, and I'm really feeling like, down lately, or, if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, remember there was a time when you couldn't buy sponges.
Right. Like, talk about perspective, right? Like, bring you down and be like, okay, let me just not bring you down, but like bring it back to perspective. Like, okay, realize that, like you said earlier, things could be a lot worse than they really are. And that's the same thing with like the hurricane. When you said that, I was like, that's a good example too. You were during that time, so you like see how that stuff has affected, people's lives in a real way, that you're like, life could be so much worse.
Oh, it could be. And, it's very difficult to be going. Actually, that's a great point, because it was very difficult to go through this phase in my life during that time. Because we were very fortunate in that storm. And, You know, there were people that were not, but I was, you know, surrounded by people and businesses that were struggling. And here I am, and I'm going through this change, and I know it. And you just feel so guilty because you're like, I need to change things and be better, but everybody else is having a hard time right now, so I should just have a hard time also. And it was a very, very awkward, confusing time. I don't think I would ever go back to it.
Yeah, it's like you have the self guilt, the guilt of like, I'm there, but I don't have the same problems, and yours are worse than mine. And that's where we get the comparison too going. And that never feels good either, whether you're on the good side or the bad side. Like in comparison, it's always feeling icky.
Oh, so icky. The comparison syndrome is one of the worst things that people, you know, can fall into, you know, for their life or their career. It's just such a nasty, nasty, you know, little trick that can sneak up on anybody. But it's not a good, you know, thing to fall into, because it can really make you even more stuck than you are. If you're sitting constantly comparing yourself to others, or, you know, comparing your situation to others, whether it's good or bad, it's not going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That mindset. I mean, even if it's just little incremental things, I've learned that even those little tiny moments where you think that they're not affecting you and they're not bothering you, those things stack up. They're still there. Right. So it doesn't matter how many times you're like, oh, it doesn't affect me because I'm, you know, I know my mindset better than that. Even those little tiny moments stack up, and eventually they do hit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, great points. Great points. So, okay. So when you were breaking free from those fears and you were moving into your new direction, we have relationships and friendships that always shift and change. Like they're constantly changing, just like everything else. Yep. How did relationships and friendships shift for you during that time?
So it's funny because it actually was more of a positive shift with friendships and relationships.
Cool.
Because what happened was, a lot of my very good friends I've been friends with since we were children or since high school. And, you know, as you're growing and learning, they, you know, a lot of them jumped on the bandwagon and grew and learned with me. And it was like this very uncomfortable time for everybody, I remember. And people were in apartments and, you know, having new boyfriends and this and that. And you're just trying to figure out, because, you know, you go through phases, right, where you with your friends all the time, and then all of a sudden you wake up on your day and you're like, I can't see you today. Like, I can't come to, you know, New York this weekend. I can't. And that was very difficult. And everybody kind of transitioned together, which was great. And we are such a strong group still today. You know, we're in our 30s, and that's even from grade school, high school, and college friends. And we all just kind of transitioned together. And, you know, people are more successful and becoming more successful every day, you know, in their home life and in the people that they are. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see. And there were some people along the way that did transition out too from, you know, me being connected with, which, you know, that's okay. You know, because at the end of the day, you kind of have to, everyone's on their own journey. And, you know, it's sad. And sometimes you look back and say, oh yeah, I remember so-and-so, but it's okay, you know?
Facebook is there to remind us, I'm sure.
I always do that. We're like, remember when we used to hang out with so-and-so? I mean, we were different people when we were in our young 20s, you know? Friends, you're with people all the time. And then you just kind of, everybody grows up and transitions. It's life.
Yeah. And that's another thing, like those things we don't even realize even. Like you don't realize that these people are transitioning out of your life until it's like down the road and you're like, man, yeah, we stopped like hanging out and having things in common and really finding that ground to really connect on, which naturally does happen. But in certain situations, sometimes it goes in the way more negative than positive. So that's awesome to hear that your girl gang is still there and like surrounding each other. That's amazing. So you mentioned something about New York. I don't think we mentioned, where are you tuning in from?
Oh, I am in New Jersey. So I live.
Oh yeah, we did. Jersey Shore.
Yeah. But so I grew up in North Jersey, and a lot of my friends after college moved to New York and Jersey City, but I moved down the shore. So that was a whole situation in itself too, because they all have lives in the city and were working, you know, great jobs in the city. And I was living down here and was not working such
on the struggle bus.
Yeah, you know, so that was like a big, you know, thing also. As well. Yeah.
Well, see, good for you for not getting the comparison monster going and being like, oh, I can't be friends with them because they're too cool for me.
That's right. That's
Because
right.
that can easily happen to people too.
It can. It can. Yeah.
So good for you. Okay, so what really compelled you to jump ship from having the fears of holding you back from, getting out of the rat race of like, okay, this is what I'm expected to do and moving into that new direction? What really compelled you to jump ship from that?
I think a lot of it honestly had to do with, one day it was just like a couple days waking up and being like, I'm better than this. I deserve more. We deserve more, George and I. And what happened was I really started to utilize the internet more than I ever had. So what I did was I started to use creativity, digital marketing as a form of self-care. So I started to blog and I started to write more and I started to develop that skill. And then, Twitter, I would, jump into tweet chats and talk about digital marketing, and tweet chats were so big in like 2013. And, I would jump in there and I would advance myself and learn and grow. And after doing all of that, it kind of like amped me up to make this jump to a better, situation for myself. And it's kind of weird, looking back, and now a lot of what I speak about is how creativity and digital marketing can be a form of self-care, because we are at the end of the day communicating with each other through social media, through the creatives that we're putting out. Even something like this, you love doing this. It's a form of self-care for you. You enjoy it. You're so excited. And that's what I started to learn and do. And then it was like, I shifted my thinking. It was always, if I could get to this amount of money, I'd be happy. And if I could get here, I'd be happy. And then all of a sudden I was like, why don't I just start enjoying myself? Why don't I take myself out of this so-called rat race of where I should be at this point in my life? And why don't I just start really enjoying the work that I'm doing and what I'm producing? And once I did that, everything skyrocketed.
Yeah, that shift, that simple shift of just being okay with what you're doing in your life right now, like finding some inner peace with whatever it is, and just moving through it that way. Like that's huge.
Yeah. That honestly is, that was like the biggest thing that had happened. As soon as I, started, tuning more into myself and, not really focusing on what was going on around me, and just enjoying the work that I was producing, and not taking, and this is going to sound weird, but taking money out of the equation. It was, the more I did that, the more money then found me, because I was actually utilizing my talents and, giving back to people in different ways, whether it was clients or whether I was helping out, people with their digital marketing and training them. And it was just really spreading that. The sea turtles, exactly. And it was like more just kept, and that's where I'm at today. And that's how I live my life. I really enjoy the work I do, and I wake up and I'm eager for my day, and everything kind of is just working out for itself, knock on wood.
That's amazing. Well, and that's the thing. It's working out because your mindset is right. Like you're already in the mindset that you're going to enjoy your life, whatever you're doing, and you make your work fun. And like that's honestly like my core goal in life. Like my motto is I don't do it unless it's fun.
Right.
So like that's what you're doing. You're making your work fun. You're enjoying yourself with what you're doing. And man, you became the president of the company. Like,
yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, just it's all about, it's all about the way that you feel, and it's really funny. It's, you could sit and grind and hustle till you're blue in the face, but if you at the end of the day are not enjoying the work that you're putting in, you're not going to get anything in return.
You're missing the whole point of life, right? It's meant to be lived and experienced. And if you're not finding joy in your everyday stuff, whether that is sitting in an office or doing something else, like whatever that is, if you're not finding the joy, the simple joys in your life, you are totally missing the point.
100%. At the end of the day, and like I always tell, my staff, is you go home at the end of the day, whether it's you're leaving at 4:30, 5:30, whatever, but you still have this in your hand. And you can honestly be anybody that you want to be. We all have mobile devices. Learn something new. get involved in something different. You know, you literally we can do anything we want to do. The world is at our fingertips in these
Yeah, literally.
yeah.
Literally. I love how much you love the digital world and the way you're talking about it. I haven't had anyone come on and like talk about these kinds of things yet. So this is so fun. I'm so grateful that you're here.
Awesome.
So what advice would you give the viewers about overcoming or just moving through fear in general?
Don't make rash decisions. Go slow. You know, we are human beings and we tend to work off of emotion. And it took
We're
me
very reactive, right? Like,
oh gosh. And it's taken me a long time to grow out of that reactionary and just to take a deep breath and bring it all in. And that's my biggest advice to people, is to just go slow and, you know, really understand what it is you're doing before you make those type of decisions, but still take the jump. That's the thing. Like, if you've got that fire in your belly and you feel that, you know, something needs to be done, pause, get it together, and still take the jump. You know, don't overanalyze, just relax and go for it.
Yes, I feel like overanalyze is like the key thing. I know so many people that they're either they go super fast or they go super slow. Like, people don't really know the medium, like where that bridge is. So it's really key what you're saying right now, in my view, that people understand like calculated things are really good. Like, reevaluate, like you said, take a breath and just like figure out, is this something that aligns with you, with your purpose, with your passion, whatever it is? And then if it is, if it betters your life or puts you on a path that betters you, then make the jump. Don't be too scared to take the jump, but calculate it out, like you talked about. Like, that's great advice.
Right. Yeah. And to have patience, you know, things, they do take time, but if every day you're working towards that goal that you have a little bit, it's going to all add up at the end. You know, it's just about putting the work in the time, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm a big dreamer. I love helping people dream, and I want to know, now that you know how to like live your life fearlessly, where do you see yourself 5 years from today? I mean, obviously you're going to be married by then. So
it's, you know, it's so funny that you asked me that, because I have to tell you, there's like literally like maybe like twice a week when I'm in the shower in the morning, I like stand there and I'm like, you are 31 years old and you are the president of a company. What the hell, where the hell are you going to be in 5 years? Where do I go from here? You know, like,
yeah,
what could potentially happen? And that's when the fear kicks in. It's kind of scary. It's exciting. Yep. It's a weird feeling, but, you know, and when I think about these things in my, you know, perfect world where I am in 5 years, is I still want to be, you know, leading and guiding teams, you know, whether it's me, you know, working with clients still and helping them, you know, lead their digital success, or whether it's, you know, I'm still at the company that I'm at and, you know, I'm still leading that team there, or whether it's I own my own company and I'm leading a team there. I like to lead. I'm a born leader. So I hope in 5 years I'm still leading. And I hope in 5 years, I hope in 5 years that I'm just, you know, I'm happy as I am, you know, currently right now. You know, I'm very content. I know I'm still growing. I just hope that I'm, you know, even more successful than I am right now. But I still have this, you know, I'm very content and I'm happy. And, you know, I want to wake up every morning in 5 years and still feel the way that I do, you know, right now.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we all know that we can't get too comfortable and content and stable and secure in one's place, as we talked about earlier. So, and it's kind of hard to judge that when you're about to have a really big life shift.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's just whatever I end up doing, wherever I am, I just hope that I still am always very, this is good. This is lovely. This is nice. You know, like even on my worst days, I always say to the staff, I'm like, it was lovely. This was okay. It could have been worse. You know, like we're having a good time. But you know, in 5 years, I mean, I would honestly love to own my own business. I really would.
There it is. All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
I can see that. That's awesome.
Stay humbled. I'm trying.
You're like, I just got this. Like, I don't want to rush it away, which I totally get.
That's what happens. Yeah. You know, you're like, blah, 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 but I would love to own my own business.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the ins and outs of running a business. I really do. You know, I like branding companies. I like branding myself. I hope I'm seen as a, you know, thought leader in some sort of aspect, whether it's leading and guiding or digital marketing, and that, you know, people do know my name, more people know my name, and that I'm trusted, you know, to be this guiding light and figure for somebody, you know, and really inspiring people. That's where I would really love to see myself in 5 years.
Oh, well, just keep talking and giving your messages the way you are. And I mean, you'll be there in 3. So
Oh my God, it'll be a
it's all
blessing.
good. It's all good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it. So, okay. So where is the best place for the viewers to go connect with you?
So I am super active on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I also have a Facebook page, but you can literally follow me on Instagram at Denise Casagrande _, and you'll find everything that I'm putting on all the other channels right there. So when I do, you know, I have a blog and a vlog that I do, and it's literally called Blog and a Vlog because why not? I was like, we'll just call it this. So, you know, if I do a new video, it'll be on Instagram and you'll be able to find it there. So connect with me on Instagram. That would be the best.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for your time. This was so stinking fun. I look forward to staying connected and having you back on here. I want to revisit the guests that are just like bringing the heat with content and fun stories. So I know that you'll be back on here whenever we can get you back on. But thank you so much for your time.
Well,
And last question I want to ask is you can say, okay, so is there anything else that you want to like wrap up with talking about fear to the viewers? If you had one last message about fear.
Yeah, this is something that I have been saying constantly, and you, at the end of the day, are the thought leader of your own thoughts.
Mm.
When you think it, when you feel it, it is yours and nobody can take that from you. So even when you are at your most fearful state, if you know that something needs to be said, if you know that something is right, if you're thinking it, it's probably the way that it needs to be, and go with it.
Right? Yeah, don't judge your thoughts too much.
That's right. That's right.
I love it. Awesome. That's a great way to end it out. Thank you so much for joining us. And everyone that's listening, remember to love yourself and live fearlessly. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
You're so cute with your peace sign.
That was good.